Welcome to week 3 of session 5. Oh boy. Okay, first off, you'll be doing a weekly journal this week. Starting Monday, you're going to set your goal, but you do not need to write things down Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. You will do a summarization at the end of the week on Friday, and make sure you budget enough time to do that adequately. So I've reduced the instructions here, but trying to remind you of some things. This cannot be made up. It's time-based. You'll be setting your goal on Monday, right here, and I will be checking it on Monday. You'll be turning in the half-sheet rubric, scoring only your goal on Monday. Make sure you properly title the blog post. It needs to be named that. This is really important. Otherwise, I won't give you credit. I have nearly 150 blogs to look at, and so the title is really helpful. Okay. On Friday, make sure you do grammar spelling check, however you want to do that. Here's an example, and so on and so forth. So up here, okay, session 5, week 3, I already put that in for you. Your goal needs to be clear, specific, and so on, and it needs to have a best practice based in it, okay? Now the best practices, I'm going to show you, are linked down below here. So again, you set your goal, but make sure that you're citing a best practice, like something. And I rewrote the best practices to kind of be more holistic, give you more options. Okay, then at the end of the week, you're going to fill out the rest of the stuff. Now this is fairly similar, but I rewrote some of the stuff to make more sense. So what are some of the things you completed this week? You're just writing that here. What best practice is, to get full credit, you need more than one, and then talk about what you did. So I wrote the stuff here to help you with that. Always delete my directions, as you can see. Then there's 3 questions for reflection. Did you achieve your goal? What was the biggest issue or problem you faced this week? And if you did not achieve it, kind of explain. So you need to put some detail here. Just stating one simple line is not going to be enough to get full credit. How did you overcome the issue or problem? Again, tell me your story. That's the biggest thing. All right, evidence, you need to link something or embed something that basically shows what you did, and you have to write at least a sentence explaining. Now, explaining is not stating, I did this. That's stating. Describe was, I did this for this. That's a little more detail. Explaining is telling the story. What am I looking at? What am I listening to? Tell me the story, and it should tie together with the other things you wrote up here. You don't have to put a lot of detail, but it should tell the story. And lastly, what are you most proud of? This is something you've seen before, but this helps train your brain to focus on things that are positive, that are challenging, and things that you've accomplished. When you do this, the more you do it, the more the brain looks for those positive, challenging things in life. It's a simple brain trick that's really cool, but also it helps me understand your story and what you're doing. Now, let's look at the revised rubric. Yep, I updated it again. Why? Because we're still trying to get better. So on Monday, you're going to score on a 4-point scale. Just circle one of these and then turn this back into me. Make sure you put your name here, okay? And you don't have to score any of this stuff up at the top, and so on and so forth. Then at the end of the week, you're going to score the rest of the stuff. But I strongly advise you read these. These are revamped, like massively revamped, because I wanted to get clearer on what you're supposed to be doing, okay? Because you're not writing during the middle of the week. I want to make sure that you understand what's coming up on Friday. In game design, we're going to do MVP on Friday, and then you'll have time to work on your blog. Everybody else, I'll remind you Friday that the blog post is due, and the final thing. And the scoring thing on the backside, we're going to still use this out of 20 points. Okay? Now, in Schoology, you'll see that there's the assignment due on Monday. It's a 1-pointer that you set your goal. I'll come gather the half sheet from you before the end of class. And then my goal is to score this either during class time or right when you leave. I'm going to go to your blog, make sure it's published, make sure it's titled properly, and that you wrote a goal that's adequate. If you did, you get the point. At the end of the week, you'll update your blog post. You're also going to get feedback from me and a score on a 1-point thing that you're actually on task doing things. It's a yes, no. Were you on task predominantly this week? Not having your phone out, blah, 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 things like that. And so I will be talking to each team throughout the week, monitoring this. This is basically, yes, you get the credit as long as you're on task doing things. If you're off task, then you're not going to get the credit. And this is just me observing things. So you can read the assignment if you want. All right. And I want you to update in the project tracking sheet on Monday. Yes, you set your goal. Okay, just put yes. It's yes or no. So do that. And then this is a reminder that we'll be doing this material at the end of the week and so on. And in game design, we will be playing the next version of your game on Friday. Everybody else, just keep working on your stuff. And that is it. Have a great week.